Welcome to Toffee TV. We're continuing the season reviews. We've spoke about Koeman already. We're moving on to the squad. Who do we want to keep and who do we want to see leave? Who do we want to see on Instagram wearing someone else's shirt going, how much they love it there? Gerard Deulofeu, I'm talking to you. I love seeing he's always putting pictures on an 18 Milan shirt. You're on loan. Oh, your head out. Sorry, Baz, I forgot you. I've got sexual feelings towards it.
Sexual feelings?
You have?
I'd like good footballers. Gerard Deulofeu's a good footballer.
Staying on to this one.
Yeah. Should we just start at the back?
Start at the back.
Martin Stecklenburg. Should we keep him, Baz?
Martin Stecklenburg. He's the perfect. Happy to just be on the bench.
Okay. Oh, that's interesting. So Martin Stecklenburg, would you keep him, Matt, as the number 2?
Yeah, or number 3. Yeah.
Okay. So that leaves on to Joel. Joel. See, I like Joel, and I don't want him to be number 2 because I want him to go somewhere and get on with his career. And I'm not being like funny when I say that, but I think that's for the best for him. He's not going to be Everton's number 1 next season, and I don't want him to be our number 2 because I think he could go somewhere and have a decent career as a number 1. So I would rather he left the club and just got on with his career because I like him. Whereas the other fella I don't give a monkeys about, so he can just sit on our bench and he's got boss hair, so that's fair enough.
Yeah, Joel did well when he came into the team, didn't he? Around Christmas time, I think it was 10 clean sheets in 15 games, something like that. He'd had. I thought he was showing signs that he could go on to be the number 1, but I was just a little bit worried that those inconsistencies would come back into his game. And the one where it really manifested was the derby, wasn't it? The Mane goal, he's a bit rooted, and then the third one he actively gets out the way of the shot. And then he had a massive wobble after that, didn't he? And Koeman took him off the side. But yeah, I tend to agree with Ped. I think he's probably a keeper that would improve most of the teams below us in the league, I'd say. Yeah. But like you said, he's not to that standard where you say if we're going to be challenging for those top 4 places, we'll need an upgrade on him going forward. Really. Yeah,
that's just more of the same. Really, I think I like him. He's not a player. I don't see his name and go, oh God, Joel's in goal. I think he's a good goalie. I think his clean sheet ratio's about 50%. I think for games played. Everton's win ratio's quite strong with him in the team. But he's not going to be our goalkeeper next season in the number 1 position. So, if you look at squad strength, I'd like him to sit on our bench so that we'd have 2 goalies I'd be very happy with. And then Stecklenburg can just have great hair and play some 23 games every now and again. But I think, realistically, if you're him, he's going into the final 12 months of his contract. And I think he's probably got to be looking, and someone like Newcastle, who would coming up.
I think he'd go back to Spain.
Well, yeah, unless you want to stay in the Prem, but I think you're right. Maybe there's teams in Spain who would be delighted to have him because he is a good goalkeeper. He's just, I think the thing with Joel, and we've seen it on Sunday against Arsenal, decision making sometimes just lets him down. I think that's what's going to stop him.
He's got to that age, hasn't he, as well, where you think
he's about 26, isn't he?
His next move's going to sort of define his career, isn't it? So
let's move on to the defenders. Leighton Baines,
stay.
Obviously going to stay, isn't he? I'd like to see someone come in and challenge him, whether that be someone who's already at the club or someone brought in from the outside, just to get that transition over the next 12 months, maybe. I think
don't make suggestions. That's for a different video.
So we want to see him. Ashley Williams.
I'm going to start this off.
Go on.
Because I've seen a lot of people. I've seen some people the other night saying he's our worst buy for years, and other people just think he's crap. And yet he's in an Everton defence that has been quite solid. We were horrendous when we had John Stones in our defence, and people were crying that John Stones was leaving the club. So for me, I think he's been a good buy because we've gone from 11th and shipping goals in for fun to hardly. I think we conceded 16 goals at Goodison all season, and 3 of them were against Chelsea, 3 against Bournemouth. So if we take that 6 out, we only let 10 in the other 17 games, which is quite strong. I think he's done a good job. Do I think he gets in my idealism in my head for next season? Would he get in a first 11? No, I'd rather have Van Dijk and Keane. But realistically, he's a good defender. Do I want to see him start with Jagielka centre-back when we kick off for the new season? No, because I don't want to see them 2 together because the legs aren't there. But would I keep him? Absolutely.
Yeah, I've been a little bit disappointed with him, but thinking about it, he'd probably still be the first defender I'll pick out of those three we've got between Jagielka and Funes Mori. So in that sense, he's quite useful. I'd like to see him next to somebody who's a bit younger and a bit more dynamic. And I think the games we saw the best of him this season, he played at the heart of a back three, and he had Holgate to one side of him and Funes Mori to the
and
other.
that was where he was brilliant for Wales.
Exactly, we've got legs, and when he's protected, and I think when he's just in the middle of that back three, and he can just sit, he can head things away, clear things away. Having Holgate and Mori next to him takes a bit of responsibility on the ball off him as well. That's where he's at his best for me. But if he is going to play in a 4 going forward, he needs someone with legs, he needs someone with youth, and he needs somebody who's better on the ball next to him.
Yeah, totally agree.
Yeah, I echo what you say. I think people look at him in part of the games and they go, "Oh, he's this and he's that," because he just doesn't look like a modern day footballer in some terms. He is a throwback, but the organisation that he's brought into that defence is huge, I think, and the leadership he's brought in. He probably played more games than he should have, but he's one of those players, and that's probably why we bought him, is that he'll play through any injury, and that's why we bought him. And he is a stopgap, and he was probably bought as a stopgap to get us sorted at the back, and we have been sorted at the back pretty much. Like, we've conceded goals against the big teams, but mostly against everyone else we've been all right. So,
and we've got Europe and everything.
Yeah.
Listen, if Swansea came in and said, "We want him back, and we'll give you as part of a deal for Sigurdsson," then we'll look.
All their fans don't like him anymore anyway. They were all booing him the other week, weren't they?
Fans are fickle.
Jagielka, is he the same, or if you're going to have to keep one of them? See, this is where you look at it and go, well, one's been in for a year and one's been our captain for years.
I love Jagielka.
I'd like to keep Jags for another year.
I love Jags, but I think if we're moving, I do love Jagielka, I do, and I'm made up that he got back in the team and he put in some fantastic performances because he did. But I just look at the likes of Sunday, and he just got ran ragged, and I just fear that he's 34. But again, it's who you bring in, isn't it? If out the two, you look at Williams and go, well, he's younger, so therefore he's going to give you a bit more. Jags, the sentiment kicks in because I do love him. But I think if we're talking about being ruthless now and trying to move on and trying to get higher up the league, would he get in any of the top 6 above us, centre back?
No.
He wouldn't, would he? So why should he get in ours? So if he had to, I'd keep him if he was happy to play League Cup, FA Cup and some Europa games and be on the bench. But I know that he wasn't happy on the bench when he lost his place, so it wouldn't surprise me if he moved on.
Yeah, it's because there's 2 of them. It's weird. One of them needs to just go. So,
well, I'd happily keep him for another season, but it would have to be him or Williams, not Williams
exactly.
together.
And I think we could still get something for Williams. So that's Seamus Coleman, obviously. He's boss.
No question.
Funes Mori.
Sell.
I just sell now.
Yeah, I would as well.
I think he's got some good attributes, Mori. Defending isn't one of them.
Yeah.
No, I think
barbecuing.
Barbecuing's amazing.
Oh, come on.
Good. That's top notch. He should be sold for.
Well,
no, I think when it's a physical battle with the centre forward, I think he's quite good. I think ironically he'd have been all right against Costa, who wants to get up in his face and elbow him. He likes that. But what terrifies me with Funes Mori is anyone who's bright and runs off him. His awareness is awful, and that to me, as we go forward, is a problem. I think it's a problem. So he's not a player that I don't go, oh, Funes Mori, I hate him, because I don't. But I think he's one we should.
And you get money for him.
Yeah.
I think some Spanish teams would be made up with him.
He didn't even score a goal last season.
I'll get rid of him then.
None of the knee slides.
None of that either.
No.
But yeah,
None of that.
I'm always terrified when he's on the ball or when he's in the team. He's one of those players I'd love to see do well as well, because when he is playing well and he is committed and he's aggressive, he's one of those players you can rally behind. But so often in the season, I think that's that Bournemouth game when there's just a couple of balls just dropped over the top of him and he's just standing there
doesn't know where he is.
Like that. I think he's blind in one eye.
Seamus.
Let's move on. Mason Holgate.
Stay.
Obviously, he's going to stay, isn't he? And hopefully,
I'd like us to develop him into a centre
back. Yeah.
You know, get him on a couple of McDonald's, build him up a little bit. You know.
Would you play? I'm not sure playing in a 2 yet. No.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
so he's got to build that. Build his strength up.
Yeah. So we're definitely keeping him. Let's move on.
He's been great.
Just throw this one in.
Yeah.
Brendan Galloway. who obviously has been on loan all season at West Brom, had a great season last season, but obviously you could see deficiencies. He was playing more as a left back, but we know he's probably seen more as a centre back. We're talking about Baines getting older, we're talking about older centre backs. Could he come in next season and give give us something that we haven't had this season?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I mean it's hard to say, isn't it, when you've not seen a player for a year. Sometimes if a lad's just been sat on the sidelines for a year and not played, he can come back and you think, oh my god, what's happened to him? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but when he did play the start of last season, and let's not forget as well, when he was in the team, he had the Runa Kone play on the left hand side in front of him, so he was constantly exposed in matches all the time. And in the main, I think there's only one game from that season where I remember he got
Stoke.
Yeah, the Stoke one, where Shaqiri got on him, didn't he, in that game? But I like him. He's good on the ball. He's seems intelligent in his defensive positioning.
So why didn't he play at all for West Brom this season?
He's not 6'4".
That's a spanner though, isn't it? But why did he take him then if he thought he could do something?
But I think what you get with these managers sometimes is they start the season thinking, we're going to be more expansive this year. We're going to have a fullback that gets forward, and we're going to play out from the back a little bit more. And if they have a bit of a rocky start, they just go back to their old ways. And West Brom actually were poor to start the season.
Let's throw another one in. I don't even know if this one's we've worked. Pennington. He's not good enough, is he? I don't think he's good enough. I don't think he's good enough. I watched them. Well, I think we were all there in the under-23s game, and they had. Oh no, they had the other kid. They had Gomez at the back for them.
For them. So
and he was just so much. He just looked quality. Whereas Pennington just looked rattled all the time by that Ojo. I'm thinking.
He's signed a new contract, hasn't he?
So well, he has. He's not going to go anywhere, I suppose. Yeah. So it's not.
I just think I wonder if he's quick enough. I don't think he's quick enough.
Yeah.
Maybe on loan, or like a championship, or one of the teams.
Go back to Coventry.
I think he needs to play at a higher level. I think if he went to the championship and played a full season, he'd have to play, and that's the problem with. You're in your mind, he'll go out on loan and he'll have a great sit, but they don't play them half the time.
Right, let's move on. Luke Garbutt, where are you? I don't know. So we'll just go past that because
he's back. He's back, and who knows?
Morgan Schneiderlin, should we sell him? No, because he's Bird's boss.
And he's amazing.
No, he's my favourite player.
Boss, Morgan.
We need more.
I'd like to see you with the Morgan Schneiderlin. Do
I think? Yeah,
really? Yeah, I think you look boss. Hair. Yeah, I think that's right. Ross Barkley,
keep 100%.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to keep him as well.
All right. This video might be out of date very quickly.
Okay. Signs deal. What about you?
Yeah, I'd keep him, of course. Okay. If he signs a contract.
That's the shortest conversation I've ever had.
Well, I'm trying to. I can see how long this could go for. James McCarthy.
That's an interesting one.
Okay, the manager's come out and said he's a big part of his ideas and he wants them
Can I just? But
I think
you go on.
He said that to just bump the price.
All right. Well, I'm going to throw something in. Right. If James McCarthy promises to only go to this is genuine.
Yeah.
If James McCarthy promises only to go to Ireland games when he's fit, honestly, and the Everton doctor says he can go, and I know I'll piss the Irish fans off. I know I will. But if he can only go to the Ireland games, if he goes sees the Everton doctor and the doctor says you're not fit, and he rings up and goes, listen, I'm not fit, I'm not playing, then I'm happy to keep him, right? Because I still think he's got something in him. I remember him in December when he was fit and he loved him. The manager loved him. But if he continues being a dickhead and going to Ireland games unfit and getting injured in warm-ups, then no thank you. Take the circus somewhere else.
But the thing is, he is being a dickhead, isn't he? He's done it a few times now. And you mentioned about the games he's had. He played well against Arsenal and 45 minutes in the derby. And apart from that this season, we've not really seen anything from him.
He was excellent at home.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, he did play well in that game.
And he actually started playing a little bit further up the pitch, which I've always said he could do.
But you're looking at that and you're thinking, right, say that's 3 games maximum.
Yeah.
And the season before that he was poor as well. Yeah. So remember we were all saying, what's happened to this lad?
He had a decent game against Spurs opening day.
Yeah,
he did.
He played right
then
against
against West Brom, he lasted 30 minutes and then he was off.
I just look at his injury record, look at his form in the last few years, look at the way he's behaved in terms of this Ireland thing, and I would not be surprised whatsoever if a big came in for him, then Everton will be happy to just.
I personally think if you get him, and you can never do this, but if you could guarantee that he'd be fit for 25, 28 games, I'd say keep him because he's still a good player, a good attribute. I think he wants to play for his country, and that's fine, but going against...
But he's not actually playing for his
No,
country.
the
is
thing
he?
is, going against medical advice to
Yeah.
sign players is a bit bizarre, because
Yeah.
you're just wrecking your career.
Which got him in this situation in the first place, with the manager going against medical advice and playing them against bleeding Wolfsburg.
Snapping his hamstring. So I think, to be honest, that everything I'd probably just sell and
It's
take
just
the money.
It's just the balance in that midfield as well.
Yeah.
I think we've got loads of holding players, and I know he's played further forward. But if we're going to have,
But we'll need more though, won't we?
but if we're
Surely?
going to have, but say if we get, I'm sure we'll come on to
Ben.
the others now. But
Yeah.
we'll have Gareth Barry's going to be there. Besic is coming back to finish as well.
Gareth
Will he though?
Barry.
Oh,
But then you've got Schneiderlin and Gay Davis as well.
don't be showing your cards before you know.
Next.
No, but I'll just
Go on.
just finish that
Do we
point.
sell him or keep him?
I'd sell him,
Okay.
but just finish that point off. If we've got, you look at those midfielders, and they're playing three orthodox central midfielders, Schneiderlin's the deepest one. I'd like to see us bring in another midfielder who's going to play in that position, who's got a bit more creativity on the ball going forward,
Okay.
and get on it in that area.
Right, Adisagana Gay obviously stays. Not even going to start messing about with that one. This is a weird one, but obviously Aaron Lennon. Now, forgetting about all his problems, because it doesn't matter. We've got players who've got broken legs, and as far as I'm concerned, it's the same thing. So, do we keep Aaron Lennon if he's
I'd.
fit and ready to go?
No.
Okay.
And that's not because...
No, I know.
That's
Purely footballing
on
decision.
a football reason.
Yeah.
Because when he's got in, and it might be that he's struggled this season in other areas of his life,
Yeah.
and he hasn't been able to recreate any kind of form. I wanted us to sign him. He came on loan. He was brilliant. We signed him, and then Martinez hid him for 4 months, and then he got back in the team and was excellent again for about 3 months. And when Koeman come in, I thought he's probably one of Koeman's kind of players, because he works so hard. But the few games he's had this season, he just hasn't impressed. And I think Koeman in general, tall. I think he's
Physical.
heightest. I think he's heightest.
Yeah, he is.
He likes.
He'd hate you.
He'd hate me. I think he likes big, strong, physical players and I just don't see Aaron Lennon getting anywhere near the game time. And I think
He
for
deserves
him,
game time
he
at this
does,
stage of his
he
career.
does. So I think for him, for the sake of his career, I think he'd be better moving on where he's gonna play a lot of games.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's move on to Gareth Barry. No, I'm going to say stay straight away, because I think that he's still got something to add. I still think that when you bring him on, we've seen how much he likes him in games when he knows he's got, he needs to control the ball a little bit better. I still think he trusts him. I think Gareth Barry's happy playing that role. He'll get more games. If, say, there's Europa games next season where we play a lot of youth, you want to mix it and have someone like Barry in there. If you put him somewhere next to Ghana, then you've got the legs in there as well, Snarling. So I'd keep him, because I still think he can be an asset to the squad on and off the pitch.
I completely agree, mate. I think he's a really good option to have off the bench. I think if you're in a game which is a bit mad, a bit frantic, you need someone to calm it down, he's an ideal player to bring on. And even at the weekend when he came on, he did give us a little bit more composure in midfield, didn't he? And especially in Europe as well, where the game's a lot more technical and tactical. It's not quite as frantic as the Premier League. You could see him playing in a lot of those games and doing a good job for us. And again, he's a player who signed a new contract, hasn't he? So
I would keep him. Do I think he will stay? No.
Oh,
I think he'll go to Villa.
okay. Well, he has been rumoured with Villa,
I
hasn't he?
do think he'll go to Villa.
Besic. Now, I'd keep him, because the simple fact is I'd keep him is because he's had no season. So he hasn't had a chance to show if he can be part. And I love Besic because I think he's got a little bit of everything. His injuries have curtailed him. Now, maybe I'm being stupid and people will go, he's he's the Idantal, isn't he? He's one of them where he looks better because he's not playing. Kids, go on YouTube and look at Idantal. Sometimes players get better, but I remember instances in the last season, like when he came on against Spurs and what he injected, and away against Man City, where he was
at home against City
in the League Cup,
and
he was cynical, and he was. I think he could add something if he could stay fit. I'd like to see him, just give him that extra year, because I think he gets it as well, and I think he's got a little. He's not just a stopper. I think he's got. I remember against West Ham, where he was dancing through their defence.
Got the penalty.
Dead quick feet. He's got. I'd definitely keep him for another year, because I don't think he's proved either way to the manager.
I don't think he's proved either way to the fans.
No,
I don't think people can genuinely say he's good or genuinely say he's crap. I like him. I think he's technically.
People do though, don't they?
Oh yeah. Well, he divides people, doesn't he? I think technically he's very good. I think he can do man to man absolutely brilliantly, because he is that, like you said, he's nasty. And
nearly did it to Messi in a World Cup.
Exactly. So I would certainly keep him. He's young, 23. I think he loves Everton. He loves it. I think he wants to prove himself here. So, and we've got the Europe games coming up and all that. Again, the question mark is fitness, isn't it?
Yeah, I completely echo what both you said. I like him, and it is just a shame when you see him getting so many injuries. He had little niggles, didn't he? And then he got this really long one. It was such a huge blow. And he played a lot in pre-season, didn't he, as well?
Who's to say, I know this might sound weird, slightly perverse, but who's to say having a year off
Might have
helped his whole body?
Yeah.
I know that sounds stupid, but it might have. I
think all the strengthening work you'd have to do. When you're getting niggly injuries and you're bouncing back every 3 or 4 weeks, you're rushing back. Yeah. With something like this, you've got a year to treat yourself on.
We all obviously want Aidan McGee to stay, don't we?
100%. Play the year. Preston play the year.
Yeah. Stay at Preston, that's what we need. This one could divide the nation.
Get him out the club.
Deulofeu. Oh, he just took the yes!
You'll have to clip
I thought you went. We're clipping that. I thought you were going to say Coney.
No, he's gone. His contract's finished.
Gerard Deulofeu.
Bringing him up.
Did you say Tom Davis?
Tom Davis. We love Tom Davis.
Gerard Deulofeu.
Well, I was going to say Tom, you've ruined it. Tom Davis is staying, don't worry. He's boss.
I would like Jerry to stay. Because again, with the whole Europe thing and all that, but I think probably it's more sentiment now because I do like him, but I think we're coming to a stage where we've got to replace the likes of Deulofeu with someone who's going to come in and do it now. He's too hit and miss for me. He showed in that Leicester Cup game what he's got. He got us a goal out and literally nothing, and we 1-0 up. And then he disappeared for the rest of the game, and he was throwing. I think
with Gerard Deulofeu, there's a lot of stuff that we don't see. We know that when he was with Martinez, he used to turn up 2 minutes before training started, and that was one of the big issues that was seen was of how the off the field discipline had gone. Now, if he was the unruly kid in class, pushing the manager to see how far he could test it, Koeman isn't going to be dicked about, and I think
he dicked Martinez about.
Well, he did, but Martinez.
He's always had a bit of a reputation.
But I think with Martinez it was different because he knew he could push him as far as he wanted. But with Koeman, he started to push him and found there was nowhere to push him to, and that might have lasted for a little bit. But don't forget, this is a player that when Koeman came in, he said he was going to be the second striker, and after a couple of weeks in the Premier League, that was thrown out the window. Now maybe.
I still think he could play.
Now maybe Deulofeu's reacted to that and gone, well, you didn't give me the chance, because pre-season last year he was flying, scoring goals.
Didn't he score again at the weekend for Milan?
He did,
but I don't count that as a goal because it's in Italy. And I think it's like a walking league over there. I don't think he'll stay at the club.
I don't think he'll stay. But you asked me would I keep him?
Yeah, I did. I'm just saying I don't think he'll stay.
Would you keep him now?
If the manager doesn't want him.
That's a different thing.
No, because if the because
if the manager wants to do Nicole,
we're doing this vicariously. For
I think there's some. I think there's some play. I think I think talent-wise, you're right. He's got everything, but there's something stopping him, and it's his attitude. It's his attitude. Yeah. But it's a whole attitude to, to the game, and I think
Emery had him right, didn't he?
Yeah.
He said he doesn't want to do anything going the other way.
But I think
until he does that, he's never going to improve.
I think there might be something right in what Ped said there about his attitude. There's that famous story when he played for Spain under 19s, wasn't there? He kept on skinning a fullback, and he went up to him and went, I'll give you my autograph at the end of the game. Don't worry, lad. He's got that little bit of a streak in him. But
you don't mind that if you can back it up.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
You can back that up like Ronaldo. Then you can do that all day long. But got no problem with that.
Back it up for Spain.
What I think we're going to...
Yeah, the under-21s.
Well, to be fair, his only performance for the national team, he scored one and got a penalty.
So did
against France.
So did David Nugent.
What I think we'll see though in the summer is a squad moulded more in Koeman's image and what he wants as a footballer. He'll want team players who are physical, who are high energy, who are going to get about the pitch and put tackles in, and that's not him. That is not him at all.
Right, okay. Coney is gone. Not asked, he's gone. Number 9 is back. Romelu Lukaku? Yeah, of course. I just wanted to ask the question. Of course. Kevin Morales, he's just signed a new contract, not even way from the island.
Would you have kept him?
I would have. I would have, because I do think he's got something about him that we'll need in Europe and in the squad for next season. Yannick Bolasie, he's not going anywhere. So yeah, but quite happy with what we've seen of him, aren't we?
I think he's. I think he'd have been perfect for the way we started playing in the second half of the season.
Just going to throw these at you now very quickly,
okay.
and then I'm going to end with the big question. Right. So Leandro Rodriguez.
Next.
There's a Sunday League team I've heard. You need a new striker.
I can't believe he went there and didn't play a single
That's
game.
how bad he. What was going on when we signed
Bobby.
him?
Bobby was going on. Next one.
Omanias.
See, now this is a tough one.
No, it's
No,
not
it's
a tough one.
It's not a tough one, Baz.
He'd have been our second top scorer.
Okay.
Premier League goals.
No, not for me, mate.
No. Yeah. Okay, this lad.
Gone.
This lad's getting a testimonial if he stays. Can you guess who it is?
Conor McAleny.
Conor McAleny.
Next.
Yeah. Adam Luchman, of course, he stays. Dominic Calvert-Lewin, of course, he stays. Tarashai.
I forgot about Sammy. Gotta give him a chance.
But he's hardly played in Germany.
No, he hasn't. Scored a couple of goals, but hardly played.
He scored a boss goal in like
He did
January
score one
or
boss
something.
goal, and that was it. But I just been. He's not the manager's cup of tea. Right, this is the big one. This is the big one. The last one. Enna Valencia.
Go on, Matt.
I would keep him, I think, but it depends on whether we can get him on loan again. I'll take him on loan again for another season, or
They want to buy him.
it's going to be between 5 and 10 million. But I wouldn't pay any more than that. For
I'd pay
him.
£7 million for him. Tops. I'd pay £7 million.
5 plus years.
Do you know what? That's actually not a bad shout. West Ham are that stupid.
West Ham.
They generally are that stupid.
Hang on a sec. Whoa. Nia scored 6 Premier League goals.
Oh, he did.
So West Ham are crap at the moment. So they need a centre fire.
No. They give us 5 million and Valencia. Jobs are good. And there you go. That's a squad review. I know it was quite fast and stuff, but I think generally we did do it quite well.
Let us know yours.
Yeah, let us know in the comments who you would keep in don't go through the whole squad.
No.
But just tell us who you'd keep, who would let go. We might do your comments on this because I think it's important. Yeah, get it done. Keep your eye out for the other videos in the season review, and thanks for watching Toffee TV.